So we're going to start there with the Junior Certificate Higher Level 2019, Paper 1, Question 3. So distance between the Earth and Mars is at least 56 million kilometers. Write this distance in the form of a multiplied by 10 to the power of n kilometers, where 1 is less than or equal to a, which is less than 10, and n is an element of natural numbers. So when you see this here, this is how they want to describe, this is what they use to describe scientific notation. All of this here looks complicated, but it's actually not. It's just saying they want you to write this number as a number between 1 and 10. So we're going to bring that back to 5.6, because that's a number between 1 and 10. And then we have to multiply it by how many units of 10 we go back. So if we went back 10, 100, 1,000, 10,000, 100,000, and so on, right? So how many times are we going back? You can see here we're going back 3, 6, and 1 is 7. So it's 5.6 multiplied by 10 to the 7. Okay, 5.6 multiplied by 10 to the 7. And just to make sure that we've satisfied what they've asked us, a has to be a number between 1 and 10. Is a a number between 1 and 10? Yes, it is. And n is a natural number, so a positive whole number. Is n there a natural number? Yes, it is. Okay, so we know that's correct. Okay, for part B, it's actually very, very similar, except for part B is working backwards, right? So they want us to write the diameter of a human hair is roughly 0.0075 centimeters. Okay, write the diameter in the form of b multiplied by 10 to the power of n centimeters, where where 1 is less than or equal to b, which is less than 10. And here n can be an integer, so a positive or a negative whole number. Okay, so you can see here this time we're shifting, rather than going back and making the number smaller, we're actually going forward to make the number bigger. Okay, so we want to turn this very small decimal into a number between 1 and 10. It has to fall into a number between 1 and 10. So we can do that by moving the decimal point back 1, 2, 3 places. So if we move the decimal point back 3 places, we'd be left with 7.5. But in order to ensure this number keeps the same value, we have to multiply it by 10 to the negative 3, because it's moving in the opposite direction. So 10 to the negative 3. So that's your answer there. So 7.5 multiplied by 10 to the power of negative 3 centimeters. That brings us on to part C. So part C there, we can see Lewis is driving at 90 kilometers per hour when he sneezes. During the sneeze, his eyes were closed for half a second. Work out how many meters he traveled in this time. In order to work out how many meters he traveled, we need to first work out how many meters he traveled per hour, right? So he was traveling at 90 kilometers per hour, so 90 kilometers in an hour. Okay, so we need to know what that is in minutes. Okay, so how many kilometers would that be in a minute? So if we take our 90,000 and to convert it from hours to minutes, we're just going to divide it by 60. So 90,000 divided by 60 will leave us 1,500. Okay, now to convert from meters per minute to meters per second, again, because there's 60 seconds in a minute, we divide this here by 60. So 1,500 divided by 60 leaves us 25. So that's 25 meters per second. Okay. Now, just to be extra clear on that, the reason why we're dividing by 60 is because there's 60 minutes in an hour. And the second time we're dividing by 60, it's because there's 60 seconds in a minute. Okay. So we can see there he traveled 25 meters in a second. Okay, so every second he traveled 25 meters. Now, we were taught in the question that his eyes were closed for half a second. So if his eyes were only closed for half a second, we take our 25 and we divide it by 2. And that leaves us 12 meters that he traveled in half a second. So the answer there is 12.5 meters is how far he traveled in that half a second.